Hello again. So, it's been 3 days since my last upload. I was going to do one yesterday, and by the time I could get around to it, there was really no good lighting. I could have done it at, way dark. A video could have been passable at best. But I actually just decided not to do it because I felt that it would give more weight to today's video. And today's video I want to talk about commitment and failure to commit, or specifically like New Year's resolutions. So every year people come up with these New Year resolutions, these little bits of creativity, these inspirations, things that they want to accomplish in their life, and for some reason they feel that there needs to be some change, some opportunity for people to just start doing things. New Year's is that time, there's always the joke, if you look online, about people in the gym, right? The gym's packed in January and it's dead by December. That's this big influx of people who want to change their lives, and then the motivation kind of dies away slowly. But it's no coincidence that January is the day that it's packed full of people, right? People can change their mind and decide to start doing something at any point in their lives, right? You don't need a major event. It's a mindset. It's the decision to change. So why does it happen after a new year? Well, there's this concept that at some point, in order for us to truly start, something else has to change first. That there has to be some event or some happening that makes us want to begin. And time is one of those, right? Like, think about, for example, getting work done. You'll say, oh, well, okay, first thing in the morning, I'll get started on it. Why? Why first thing in the morning? Why don't you just start now, since you want to get it done? Oh, okay, maybe you don't want to divide the project into two. But assuming there's time, why wait until the morning and say, I'm just going to have a very productive next day, I'm just going to get up, I'm going to knock it out, I'm going to do all these other things. Why put it off? Why procrastinate? And I think that I want to start adapting, because this is already something that's present in my life. Even though I make a set of resolutions every year that I try to work on over the course of the year, something I want to adapt in my life, but I also want to push out to you, which is New Year's resolutions need to go away, and it's time for lifetime resolutions. It's time for, these changes, just deciding to change and do it for no reason other than the fact that it's Thursday at 2:34, p.m. So, what's the deal? Why can't we do it? I feel like people have this issue with commitment, and I think a lot of people, they talk about relationship commitment all the time. They talk about how people have a hard time staying faithful to other people, and that's because of the fickle will of, human nature, right? You see things that are appealing, you want things, you aren't satisfied with certain elements, and this desire to complete yourself drives you and compels you to do things that may not necessarily coincide with your values. But the biggest thing about commitment is that when you are truly committed to something, when you're truly going to do it, you shouldn't be doing it because of the result, because of that temporary fulfillment. You should be doing it because it's about integrity, right? Commitment is about fulfilling your word being your bond. That has to take precedence over the desire for whatever it is that you want. And that raises some ethical questions, right? It raises some moral questions. Should your word really be that important to where you'll sacrifice something that you consider to be necessary for your happiness in order to fulfill it? What becomes more important then? Your own happiness or your desire to be honest, your desire to be transparent and keep true to the things that you say? And that varies from person to person, and I don't think that there's a correct answer. I don't think that, when someone says, I'll be there tomorrow at 5 o'clock, and they show up at 5:25, and they're late, and to them, it's okay, right? 25 minutes is an understandable amount of time to be late, and for the other person, they sat there for 25 minutes, and it's completely selfish, and it's completely inconsiderate, but one person doesn't mind, and the other does. Is that person wrong? Is he incorrect for showing up 25 minutes late? I mean, it could be argued that it was inconsiderate for him to do, but maybe, just maybe, the 25 minutes that he, had, that he spent elsewhere, getting ready, dicking around, maybe that was an integral part to his own personal happiness and his cycle of life and what he does. The context there, I actually think it's selfish for both parties. There's this sort of reverse selfishness where this person thinks that just because they gave them their word they'll be there at 5 o'clock, somehow they're owed that date. That somehow this person's personal happiness for that 25 minutes is now superseded by the second person's happiness for that 25 minutes. Think about that. Don't you think it's kind of odd, right? And so I think commitment's kind of the same way, because the two aspects I want to touch on is A, about how we view commitment, and B, about what commitment really means. So the fact of the matter is, for example, I'm fasting right now. I'm supposed to be fasting today. I already had a meal. I broke my fast. Why did I break my fast? Well, I had a very reasonable reason for it. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's always reasons. We always manufacture some sort of reason to break what we do. I was seeing a friend recently over the last 3 days. We ordered Chinese food. I ordered a lot of Chinese food because I like options. I don't want to eat one thing. I want to eat a little of many things. I want to experience many different facets of life. And there was a lot of leftovers. If I don't eat them, they're going to go bad. That costs money. In my head, fasting is free. Eating costs money. Do the thing you can't always do, and then do the thing that's free after. For me, that makes logical sense. But that's all it took for me to break my commitment. Was rationale, logic. Suddenly something became, more worthy of my attention, and that commitment was broken. And that, it creates this sort of unwinnable paradox where you can't fulfill every, internal commitment and also simultaneously find happiness when your parameters change. So commitment then, I feel, needs to stop being about these blocks of time. Commitment no longer needs to be about, I'm going to do this because, I feel this way now. It needs to be a lifetime commitment. And I don't just mean committing that commitment for the rest of your life. I mean it needs to be a lifetime commitment, because we need to stop making short promises and we need to make lifelong promises. Instead of saying, the commitment that I'm going to make is I'm going to not have sex until I'm married. Short-term commitment. I'm not going to have sex until I'm ready and I feel romantically connected with somebody to have sex with. One of them prohibits you, right, from doing what you may want to do later on in life. It prohibits you from changing as a human being. And the other one simply sets a list of parameters that stays true to the real intention behind your commitment, but also gives you room to expand as a person. We need lifetime commitments instead of short-term commitments. And so that also will end out this video with the last piece, is how it relates to this. I made a short-term commitment. I said that I made two short-term commitments. I said that I was going to fast 3 days a week, and I still haven't broken that. I could still fast 3 days this week, but that's not the point. I said I'm going to fast 3 days a week to cut my calories and curb weight. My real commitment should be, I'm going to cut calories, I'm going to curb weight, and I'm going to monitor myself for the rest of my life to make sure that I'm living healthier and I'm living better, and I get to improve myself. I get to be more attractive. I get to have more self-confidence. It's a life-term commitment, not some short-term commitment with a goal in mind. And the second commitment that I made is I said, I'm going to do this talk channel every day. Every day, I'm going to sit down, I'm going to chat it out, and that was a short-term commitment. And I still want to do that. Maybe I'll do it every weekday, or maybe I'll do it only on days that, really give me something of merit to say. But the commitment shouldn't be this short-term commitment of, I'm going to do it every day. It should be a lifetime commitment of, I'm going to do it because I want to do it and I want to put it on camera. I want to have a recording of my sessions because I find them to provide, really good reflection. There's an introspection there. I shouldn't do it just because I said I was going to. I should do it because I want to do it and because there's good reason to do it. There's something really there at its core. So enough with the short-term commitments. Enough with the New Year's resolutions. It's time for lifetime resolutions. You have a good day now.